Eni Hukatere, she loved to climb mountains. The man of her dreams, Tuawi, he was more of a coastal man. But because of his infatuation with her, he chose to follow. Eni Hukatere could climb mountains like no other. She was the queen. She knew what to do. Whereas Tuawi was the amateur. Trying to keep up with the love of your life is a pretty hard thing. Tuawi was swept away by an avalanche. He fell to his death. The icy tears of Eni Hukatere became Te Moika or Tuawi, forming what we know today as Fox Glacier.
Te Moika or Tuawi, the Fox and Franz Josef glaciers. Thousands come every year to see them. They're a vital tourism magnet. But these glaciers are disappearing fast. Can you imagine a country without them? The heartbreak. How did it get to this point, and is there any hope?
Wehika, the township known as Fox today. The essence of this community is reliant on people coming to visit this wonder. Although small in size, is big in stature. What is truly unique about this township, it doesn't really matter in what direction you go, you're going to experience something quite powerful.
Growing up in Fox, it didn't feel like we knew anything different. We were just, young kids playing in our backyard with the mountains and everything, and it just felt normal, I guess. There seem to be quite a lot of kids. It seems that there's a lot less now. Even the motels now are just so empty. We have some that aren't even open at the moment because there's no business for them. I grew up walking to the glacier, seeing it from the car park, and now it can't get anywhere near where we used to go. So now it's just purely helicopter. I didn't realise how cool it was to have a dad that was so into the outdoors and just, living such a cool life. Dad would always come home wearing the uniform, but it's quite, I remember the first time I put it on, I was like, yeah, I'm in the uniform now, this is my job too. The glacier then becomes something we can bond over. The feeling of walking on a glacier is super surreal. You're on this massive chunk of ice. Where did it come from? You find all these little pockets in the ice, especially when you get into the steeper terrain. And you can go around a corner and you're all alone. And you're on this expanse expansive, I don't actually know the word, ice ramp. You get teleported by helicopter, you're there, you have this amazing experience, you share it with others. You give out a lot and you get back a lot. You're like away from reality for the whole day. But then you know that the next day you can do it all again. And
Yo, Matt, where are you, brother?
Just got to Fox, but looks pretty wet outside.
It looks crazy out there. I don't think we'll be flying for the next few days.
No, I don't think we will be flying. I think, to be honest, it looks kind of good for Wednesday afternoon, but we'll have to see what the West Coast delivers. The first time I saw the Fox in sunset was actually on this ski touring trip that I did 10 years ago now. I was skiing, I was right near the hut, following some ski tracks. I just remember this whooshing sound. The next thing that I'd felt was just falling down through this crevasse. And I just remember landing at the bottom, quite a ways down, maybe like, 10 meters or so, onto the ice floor. Skis blew off. And I just remember looking up and there was like this portal, this like small hole in this huge ice cave that I'd fallen into, this crevasse. So I strapped my skis onto my pack, got my ice axe, cut some steps and sort of climbed out. And I just remember sitting there with my friends, watching the glacier just getting painted in this orange-red glow. That definitely sparked something to want to come back. It takes so much time to understand how the glacier works, which is the beautiful thing about it, but that's also the challenge of it. The walls of the mountains are so steep. The rugged ice and the most beautiful part of the glacier is cast in shade most of the day. Checking light maps, I discovered that there was this extremely rare window of light that only happened for 10 days of the year. That light was this blood red light. When I think of the blood red light, it really just epitomizes what I'm trying to do here. And that's to show visually what's happening to the glacier. I've been coming here for years trying to get this. There's so many factors at play now. The part of the glacier that I'm shooting is essentially the bleeding edge. This is really the last opportunity I have to capture this. Right now, we've just had a storm roll through and it hasn't fully settled yet. It's really a roll of the dice at this point. Let's just hope that this time it pays off.
it off. Where are we? Fox. I think it's small gear. What a mess. Who organised this? This isn't my stuff. I swear. It's hard to piece together how I'm feeling about going back to the Fox. I've led myself into a position where I haven't got that same confidence and vigour that I normally would. There's so many days leading up to going on this trip where I don't really know if I've got it in me to do it. I think I still have a lot of processing to do, but you know, I'm really looking forward to showing Millie around, and I think that gives me an opportunity to heal as well. And it's kind of once everything goes quiet up there that the real good stuff happens, I guess. Going back to the Fox and going to the glaciers feels like rekindling an old romance, something that, you know, you've got this familiarity to.
I guess I kind of grew up pretty heavily within the guiding scene. It's a very coloured lifestyle. On one side, you have this very strong sense of community and growth, but also there's that kind of aspect of loss. I think everybody feeds off each other, and that's why humans in general work so well in a community. There's only so much enjoyment you can have by yourself.
Not too long ago, I was sitting at work and I looked at the news and saw that there was an accident in the Arrowsmith Range. That's where my old man's worked the last 20 to 30 years. He's been heli skiing out there for seasons on end. He does more days than anybody else. They're very untamed, difficult mountains to make a living out of, and he's done such an amazing job of that. We've definitely gone through our fair share of accidents. I kind of had to experience it all. And I guess you grow up with that anticipation that one day you'll go home and it'll be Dad's turn. And that has always been a lot heavier on my mind than I think I let on to most people. So sitting at work and looking through the news and seeing an accident in the Arrowsmith Range, the first thing you think of is Dad's gone. I went into a full state of panic. I just started trying to contact people and figure out what was going on, and I was really fortunate that Dad picked up. And that kind of short glimpse of relief was very quickly ripped away from me when he told me that Bretto had passed away in an avalanche. The mountain guiding community, the ski community, our local community lost a really key member in Bretto, and we think of all the great times and great memories that we shared with him. But it sucks because, he leaves behind his family, and that just kind of bears heavier because I guess he was always your worst nightmare growing up.
Even in the trenches of dark, there's a lot of clarity. Our job as creators is to capture the essence of who we are, what we are, why we are. We create the visual to those stories that are told. It's not about relearning, it's about a continuation of a story that ties us to the land. The memory of the glacier will forever live on through our storytelling. It's probably, in a way, it's like starting the story again. Maybe someone else has to become Hini Hukateri and climb that mountain, be chased by his man, for those tears to actually come back and be preserved back in the land.
I feel like we're responsible for our own healing, and nature just provides us with the tools to do that. I'll never stop using the outdoors as a gateway to better understanding myself. Nature's kind of like music. Each aspect of nature has its own tempo and rhythm. It can kind of guide you towards discovering yourself, in some cases heal yourself.
I had these sort of grand ambitions to capture this set of images that would tell this story of change and show what's happening out in the world by putting a magnifying glass on one place. But all these years of coming back, I think the influence the work has, or it doesn't, it doesn't really matter in the end. Thinking back to what it felt like to sit up there for the first time, I still can't pinpoint what that feeling was that brought me here. I mean, it might take years to figure out what that is or the impact it's had on me, but now I just think of how grateful I am to have seen it.
When people describe Fox, I always hear them talk about how special that community bond is. That's what I think it comes back to every time. Because it doesn't matter what's around nature. The glacier, it's amazing, it's beautiful, it will draw people in for a short amount of time. But the real special part is the community. They don't stay here for the ice, because as amazing as Fox is, there is ice other places. People like to travel as soon as you've had enough, which I don't know how you have enough of the Fox ice, but that's okay. the community. That is why people stay.